Hello everybody and welcome to another video on the channel. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all for your comments on the recent shorts and videos. I've really enjoyed reading them and thank you for getting involved as always in the channel. For those of you who don't know, this weekend Arsenal take on West Ham. This is, in my opinion, make or break for the Gunners' title aspirations. In all honesty, West Ham have not been good this season. That's something to take into account going into this one. They do currently find themselves in 16th place in the league and they only have accumulated 27 points. That said, there is quite a gap between themselves and Wolves, obviously, who are a 7th place below them in 17th on 19 points. But I think that doesn't tell the whole story with West Ham. They obviously initially had Lopetegui. The players had down tools for him. He clearly wasn't the right man for the job and he clearly wasn't making the correct decisions. Recently, they got rid of Lopetegui and appointed Graham Potter, someone who's much more attack-minded, but equally is a much more promising, tactical manager who is just superior than Lopetegui in every single aspect. Tactically, I believe that Potter is much better than a lot of Premier League managers. Last time out, West Ham faced against Brentford, which is obviously Thomas Frank, another astute manager. And whilst Brentford came out victors in that contest, West Ham had equal stats to Brentford and Shaw came unlucky not to get a point against Brentford. What I'm trying to say is that I have no doubt that Potter is good enough tactically and astute enough as a manager to be able to take advantage of any deficiencies that Arsenal's depleted squad may have. I am not sure that West Ham will be as easy to beat as Leicester, in the basis that if it was 0-0 at the same amount of game time as the Leicester game was 80 minutes in, I don't think that West Ham would go for it to the extent where they leave themselves so exposed that a Mikel Merino in striker can operate in those spaces and have a free header to nod home. So I'm concerned that if the game state is quite even, that West Ham will be able to see out the result and Arsenal might not be able to break down their defence to get a proper chance in the final few minutes of the game. For this game, in my opinion, it is all centred around Arsenal scoring early so that they can then try and exploit any gaps that West Ham will create when chasing a goal. So that is where the Emirates crowd have to support Arsenal, because I think that West Ham's playing staff and manager is better than Leicester's. So this, for me, is the real test as to whether Arsenal can sustain a title race whilst being so depleted in squad. Coupled with this, Arsenal in the last few weeks have been more prone to allowing space on a counter-attack. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to concede counter-attack goals, but the other teams have made more high-quality chances from countering against Arsenal. There seems to be more space in behind, and that part of that, I think, is because they've got to try and give up space to allow the teams to come forward for Arsenal then to get gaps to break through the lines in, especially without any focal point in attack necessarily and the general load on the players. So that means that West Ham have players who can damage teams by counter-attacking in big spaces. These are Bowen, Kudos and Paqueta especially, and that is an area that I expect Graham Potter to try and exploit against the Arsenal backline. As I said, for me this is the real test. This shows whether we can survive without Havertz. This shows whether we actually have a title race on our hands. If we get through this game, it will prove a lot to me in the fact that we can sustain the winning performances without a number 9 or a natural number 9. I don't think Merino will start striker again. I think it'll be the same front three as was against Leicester, because I think it's a different style of game in terms of game state for when we need to just get a ball in the air to the back post for a striker to nod in. If we lose this or drop points, the title race is well and truly completely over. And that would be a shame, because Liverpool are looking vulnerable. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Liverpool will drop the points required to win the league by the end of the season. They will have dropped the 5, 6, 7 points. They might have even dropped 10, 11 points by the end of the season because they're not looking at the best as they were at the start of the season. That said, I'm less confident that Arsenal can close the gap and drop less points than that themselves. Now, if they beat West Ham, that confidence does rise because West Ham's a completely different kettle of fish to what Leicester posed last week. So we'll just have to wait and see. As I said, I am really, really nervous about this game. I'm not certain that the team can overcome this fixture. I think the main point that we have to work out is how we contain their counter-attacks, especially with Mohamed Kudus, and also how we get the final third attack correct. If Ødegaard can maybe get a goal, if Sterling can go up a level, which is required for Raheem Sterling, because let's be honest, he has not been at his best, then we might be able to make do. It's just a tough test. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What scoreline are you predicting for this one? What performance are you predicting for this one? I hope you have enjoyed. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Goodbye.